Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another live. It's Wednesday again. Wednesday again. It's the 9th of March. What a beautiful sunny day we have out there. Are you ready today to take on the next step in your marketing? This month, I'm dedicating the month of March to Marketing March. We're going to take you through some of the steps that you need to think about in your marketing. We're not going to give you the answers, but we are going to give you the structure so that you can take that away and just do some deeper, more strategic, more aligned thinking to the target markets that are important to you to grow your business. So if you've got marketing questions that you want answered, please do put them in the chat and join the conversation. We'll be glad to help you. If you've got an issue pulling people in towards you, or individuals that may be a particular target market that you're struggling to convert, whatever it might be, when it comes to marketing, that is the starting point of getting the success in your business. A lot of people will ignore marketing. They'll do a little bit on social media. They don't really know what they're doing, and they're just kind of taking a bit of a scattergun approach to the marketing. This will allow you, these sessions will allow you just to hone in just that little bit extra on your target market and get crystal clear with them and attract them to you. More profits, less time for you involved, and better margin. Can't say fairer than that, can we? So last session, when we were together, what I asked you to go and look at and do was a bit of market research. Go and find out in your marketplace why people buy from you, what's important to them about purchasing that particular service or product, what your competitors do, what your existing customers, why they stay with you, what is it about you that means that they stay with you. Just go and find out as much information as possible. That will give you some trends, and those trends are really important when you're starting to bring down and look at your target market. So from that information flowed into target market, we were going to create your avatar. We're going to create the ideal client that you want to work with. Does that mean that you will service other clients that don't fit that? Absolutely. But these are the people that you really want to attract, and therefore your marketing will flow through in that way. So they were things like, the demographics of the individual. How old are they? What type of family do they have? Where do they, geographically, where do they live? What type of house are they in? Psychologically, what type of person are they as well? So there were all these different things that we asked you to look at. If you don't know what they are and you can't identify, just go back to the other live, go and watch that. It's half an hour. It's not even that. It's 24 minutes. Go and watch that, and then come back to this one. So we did that. Now, I'm going to take you from that avatar that you've created and jump through and jump forward into creating your ideal copy, or start thinking about the ideal copy that you're going to put forward, or the offer that you're going to put forward to your clients or your prospects out there. So the first fundamental thing that I need to share with you today is this: marketing is maths. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that we need to be testing and measuring everything that we're doing in marketing, because then we know what we can affect and actually what our actions have and what results we might get at the end of it, whether our marketing spend is the right spend or not. So a client that I work with, he used to put in somewhere in the region of £19,000, so £19,000 a year on SEO. So that was one of his marketing strategies, just to get him up on the rankings. It was a phenomenal amount of money. And actually, the client didn't need, A, to spend that much, but B, didn't have his target market defined well enough that created the SEO and got the keywords in the right way to attract the people that he really, really wanted. He moved his SEO over, and now he's spending half of that, just under half of that, and getting much, much better results. But he wouldn't have known that if we didn't know what the spend was and we didn't know what the results were. And then when we change it, again, how do we affect that? So marketing is mass. I'm going to be asking you as a business owner to track some of those numbers as you go through. Track your spend, track your lead attraction, track your conversion rate on each individual marketing strategy that you have, and also maybe some of the adverts or some of the marketing materials that you put out there as well. And I'll explain more throughout today. So number one that I'm going to get you to think about is looking at your target market, looking at your avatar, knowing what they look like, knowing where they live, knowing their kind of hobbies and their interests and so on and so forth. I need to score yourself. So just score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 here. Okay, so 1 is really, really difficult, and 10 is this is the easiest person for me to get hold of without a shadow of a doubt. So number 1, how easy is it for you to reach this target market that you've identified? And just give yourself a score from 1 to 10 and think about the things that affect how easy it might be to get to them. So it could be geographically, it's really difficult to get to them. It could be that actually just talking to them, getting hold of them. Maybe they are a corporate client and the decision maker is really difficult to get hold of because there's so many people around them, so many gates to get through, if you like, before you actually get to the person that you want to talk to. Maybe it's a particular industry that's really difficult to kind of get into and talk to. Maybe it's really simple. Maybe it's dead easy. Like they just literally walk past your shop and they walk in. You've got prime place in the retail space, lots of footfall, and it's really easy for your target market to get there. So just score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, thinking about your target market. Now, when I think about my target market, mine's probably split into 2. So some of my target market's really, really easy to get hold of and talk to, and some of it's really, really difficult and takes a lot more time and effort. It doesn't mean that I'm going to do. I'm going to drop one. It definitely doesn't mean I'm going to drop one of the target markets. But what it does mean is that it sets my focus, my drive, and my action in the area that is important for that particular target market. Like I'm not going to get down because I know that one of my target markets is more difficult to get than another target market. I'm just going to put the extra effort in, the extra focus in, the extra time, the extra budget to be able to talk to those individuals. So no right or wrong, but score yourself out of 10. And once you've done that, here's the next question. The next question is, got the wrong one. There we go. How easy is it to convert that target market, and on what basis? So the basis could be the issue, the problem that they have, or the thing that you're trying to solve for them within that target market. So if you take a plumber, for example, it might be really easy to convert someone who's a target market where it's fixes and maintenance. It might be easy to convert that target market, let's say, for a landlord who needs a gas safety certificate. And it might be relatively easy to convert someone who just needs a shower putting in as a plumber, for example. It might be more difficult to convert someone who needs a whole system change. Maybe they are more price competitive out in the marketplace and price driven to get a whole system. It may be, if you're a heat engineer or plumber, that if you're going for large installations, let's say in distribution centres, and that's your target market, they're scarcer and they're more difficult to convert. You spend a lot more time with them. So think about your target market. Just have that one in your head, ideally, and then go, okay, so how easy are these individuals to convert? Again, scale of 1 to 10. No right or wrong, but make sure that you are clear on that. And the reason why we're doing the scale of 1 to 10 is because I want you to start thinking about what it is that you can do to bring those numbers more closer to a 10 for you, easier basically for you. So the higher the number, once you've added it all up, then the easier hopefully it will be for you to get more of those particular types of clients, more and ultimately more turnover, more profit for you. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some measurement. So be patient, but do these actions, do these activities. It's really important for you. to do that. Okay, so the next one, do they come back often? So again, scale of 1 to 10. Do they come back often, or how often do they come back? So if you think about, again, let's just use the plumber story. If you've got someone who's a landlord, they need a gas safety certificate every single year, they come back pretty much every year. But what do you need to do to affect them coming back every year? What's in your marketing to ensure that you keep them coming back and attract them to you? So we'll get to sort of think about that element. Or if it's a maintenance, if you're a heat engineer or a plumber and it's a maintenance that you're doing, do they just call the first person in the yellow pages, or in the local magazine, the advertising magazine? We've got a couple that come through our door, the sort of roundabout and the local rock. You'll probably have the same where you are. And they open them up. Who do they pick? So they just pick the first person that they see, or do they think about you? So are you measuring that? Are you measuring for that particular target market every single client and how often that they come back to you? So if you're not, then I would recommend that you put some system in place to ensure that you actually do that. And then you can see whether your target market needs to be continuously replenished, and leads to come in, or whether actually it's really easy to keep those particular customers for years and years to come. Now, when I ask this question to business owners, they generally will be very much more on the positive side. So what I mean by that is, have you got many repeat customers? Oh yeah, we've got repeat customers. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, they've been with us for 23 years, and then they might reel off 4 or 5. But when you start digging underneath and you start actually looking at the numbers, they probably do have a core following of people that stay with them for a long period of time. But then there's a huge amount that don't. And my question is why are those people not staying with you? What is it that's causing them to go? And we try and dig underneath that and affect our marketing to ensure that they stay. So do they come back often? Scale of 1 to 10 again, ask that question. By the way, as I'm going through this, if anything's coming up in questions that you want to ask and get answered, put them in the chat. We will answer those for you 100%. Okay, next one. So what's the average spend of that particular target market? So again, if you think about the heating engineer plumber example, if you've got distribution installation for a heating system, that average spend is going to be much bigger than a drippy tap, a residential client. The drippy tap residential client maintenance might come back time and time again, but have a lower spend. But that's okay. We just need to know what the number is so that we can track through and see whether we are focused in the right target market for us, or whether we're attracting the right target market for us. And it is about what's right for you, not about anything else. So, it's about you being famous for something in the marketplace, being really comfortable with that and enjoying your job, enjoying your business as you run through. So what's the average spend on that target market? Again, scale of 1 to 10. So like 1 would be, well, do you know what? They just don't spend a lot. They less than 100 quid. 10 being, it's thousands and thousands of pounds every time they buy from me. Next one, can you achieve a good margin level when serving these clients? That's an interesting question because, again, money is one thing and revenue is one thing, but actual profit and margin is key. As they say, turnover is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash in the business is king. So have you got, and are you focusing in your target market of getting a good margin level? So I went with a client who had approximately 80% of their business on one customer. And that customer really didn't bring them in much of a margin at all. It was in some ways touch and go, actually, whether they made a profit from them or not. But the fact that they were servicing a particularly high-end client, a well-known brand, that did attract other people to them. However, once they realized that if something goes wrong and their margin goes to negative or even break even, they're doing 80% of their business through this client, it's probably not good business. So once they made a decision themselves to drop that client, they had a huge opening to take in more margin, higher margin clients, and change their approach in the marketplace and their target market, and their business transformed over, very quickly over a few weeks and months. So have a think about that in your mind. Like, what target markets are you focused on that actually aren't giving you much margin? Are they worth doing? Now, there's no right or wrong here. So some people that I work with will say, well, yeah, this target market here doesn't really bring me much money in, but what it does do is it's a step in. So they'll step into my business, they'll understand what we do more, and then they'll buy more things from me. So you probably heard the term loss leader, and it means you're attracting someone through, a cheaper product or service that you're offering to then keep that client coming to you. You just have to be certain that it's working. And how do you do that? You do it because you measure it. And marketing is math. So back to that point. So those people coming in, how often, if they're buying a low end or low margin product from you or service from you, are they staying with you? Are they coming back? How much do they spend? What's the lifetime value of that particular customer? So do think about that deeply. And if you don't know the data, start measuring it. If you don't know how to start measuring it, talk to me and I will help you set up the system that you need to measure all the way through. Just message me or contact me on the phone. Right, this next one. So once you've done that, okay, so let's just go back to this one. So once you've done those and you've answered those questions, what it will do is it will highlight, and hopefully you'll have some kind of blinding flashes of the obvious, some BFOs as we call them, and go, oh my gosh, why am I doing that, more of that to that particular target market? And then you can carve out your marketing to be able to attract those people to you. And then within your target market offer out into the marketplace, or your advertising, or your website, or any of the materials that you create to attract individuals, social media posts and so on and so forth, you can start thinking about these things. So we've done a bit of market research, we've looked at our target market, and we think we really want to go for this particular target market. We've done a bit of analysis around that target market and whether they are going to convert or not. And whether they're going to buy more frequently from you and they're going to spend a good level of money with you, and there's going to be good margin. If we do those things, there will be increased profits in your organization without a doubt. But we've got to reach out to them. So first thing, and I learned this from an amazing lady in marketing many years ago when I worked for Avon Cosmetics, and she said, walk in the shoes of the consumer. So focus on the needs of the customer that you are going for. Think about what it is that's causing them a problem, or that they want something that they want solving, or something that they want to feel better about themselves because of what you provide. So actually think and put yourself in their shoes and really think about what it is that they need from you. Generally speaking, or probably wholeheartedly speaking, people don't necessarily want anything that you provide. What they want is a solution for the problem that they have. What do I mean by that? So nobody wants a 4-inch drill, right? Nobody wants one. Nobody wants a number 6 drill pit. Okay. What they want is a hole in their wall so they can put a raw plug in and then put the screw in and hang a picture. That's what they want. Okay, so that's the problem they have, is like, I can't drill a hole in my wall because I don't have a drill bit. So you've got to think about it in the same way. Like if you're a plumber heating engineer, nobody wants a plumber heating engineer. What they want is their drippy tap to stop dripping. What they want is a more efficient boiler. What they want is a warm house. What they want is certainty that their boiler will last for years and years. What they want is to ensure that their boiler will continue to work through the winter months and it won't break down because you service it regularly. So think about the things that the customer actually wants, and that's the information, that's the rhetoric, that's the message that you're going to be sending over to your customers as you think about the copy or the advert or the social media post that you're going to be putting out. Always be thinking about what that customer needs. As you run through and think about those things and you start writing, you need to be really focused in on using relevant terms and references. What do I mean by relevant terms and references? Well, one thing that we all are guilty of, I'm sure if you think about it, you are too, is that in our industries, there is a lot of jargon. And we use that jargon because it makes us probably, consciously or unconsciously, probably makes us feel better. The fact that we know stuff that the customer doesn't. You know, if you go to a hardware store and say, I've got this problem, and they say, oh, what you need is a JX32, they're not interested. They don't know what a JX32 is. What they need to know from you is an explanation of what a JX32 is. So think about that when you are communicating to your target market, and use those terms and references in a way that is relevant to them, that means something to them, and that they connect with easily. Now, there may well be a need for some jargon or some technical words that you put together in your marketing material, but please explain them to people. So A, they might feel that you are professional and you know what you're on about, but B, they actually know what you're on about. So if you think about that in your marketing material as well, using relevant terms and references for them to keep it really simple for them. Okay, next one. As you are reaching out to your particular target market and you have that avatar in your mind and you know exactly who you're after, create some tailored case studies so that you talk to that particular target market without actually talking to them, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you are after, as a heater engineer, drippy taps, and that's your ideal customer, then create tailored case studies from your existing client base where you have fixed drippy taps, and put it on your website and put it in your social media to attract those people through. Some people do that really, really well. And I look at people in their on their websites. Some people have lots of testimonials and feedback from people that don't actually match up fully to what they are offering in the marketplace or their ideal customer. So think about it. It's better to have really good tailored case studies and a few of them than lots of them that just kind of blind people and they don't actually see any of them. I've got, oh, Katie, good morning, Katie. Just looking at the comments. Hope you are feeling okay today. I know you're not very well at the moment. Boo. But thank you for that. It's great advice. Yeah, keep thinking, keep the grey matter turning in the mind, and make small changes. Some of these things, if you're already doing this stuff and you're already thinking in this way, you don't need to change a whole lot at the same time. Small incremental improvements in your processes, in your copy, in your target market identification, then measure, leave it for a while, and then go back and see, has it been affected? And what I mean by a while, again, it depends on which market that you're in and what you're doing, but you know, certainly not every week, right? You probably need to be leaving it a month or two before you can see an effect out the other end, but it does depend on each market. So I left you here, didn't I? Using tailored case studies. So go and get them, right? Once you've figured out who it is I'm focused on, what's the which client am I ideally likely to get more turnover and money and profit from, and they come back to you more often, and you've got some real relevant words that mean something to them, and therefore they are attracted to you, go and ask those customers that you've already worked with for a testimonial. Right. Now, if we do that, we get the clear message. Excuse me. We get clear messages. You will 100% have a lower spend on your marketing budget per client or lead attracted to you. Okay. So you may not have a lower spend on marketing overall, because you may actually think, wow, I found the secret to my marketing. I'm going to ramp up my marketing spend to attract more leads to you. But per lead attracted to you, you're looking to lower that. Do you know how much a lead costs you in your business? If you don't, how are you going to measure it to ensure that you know that? Really simply, your marketing spend divided by the number of people that inquire with you in a year, that's the cost per lead. You can do it by quarter or month if you want, but the longer you have in terms of data, the more accurate it will be. And start that as a baseline and just track, say, as I'm identifying this, is the cost per lead going down, or is it going up? And if it's going up, maybe it's going the wrong way. So data is your friend here. If you do that and they convert more and they spend more with you, and it's easier to convert, so you spend less time converting them, guess what? You are going to get increased profits throughout that. So that's it for today. Take from the first session that bit of market research, identifying your target market, pull it across to today, and really start thinking about answering those questions of whether the individuals are easy to reach, easy to convert, spend more money with you, or how much they spend with you, how often, and whether they are higher margin with you. Then start creating some materials that is relevant, using clear, simple terms of reference for individuals. Focus on their needs, focus on the problems that they're trying to solve, get some tailored case studies, and measure all the way through. Hope you've enjoyed today. We are back next Wednesday. We are going to be doing another live. We are following on from marketing today. We're going to just carry on with marketing March next week, 9:30 live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Have a great day. Go and be awesome, and go and be as successful as you possibly can and as you deserve to. Take care. Bye-bye.